Hello, welcome to OfficeForNewbies.com tutorial on how to use Vlookup in Excel. Today we're going to take a simple example where we're looking at students' grades as a number grade, and we're going to assign them a letter grade based on our grading scale we have down here. So you can see I've already filled in the number grade with just a random number generator, and I'm referencing the letter grade here from the table. So how would you go about doing that if you wanted to do that for yourself? Well, we're going to answer. There's three things you need to remember when you're going to use the Vlookup function. So let's see. We're going to get started. Vlookup, right? The lookup value is going to be our number grade here, comma. The table array is going to be our grading scale table down here. Now, there's one thing to remember there is that your columns need to have labels. If you don't have labels for your columns, it will screw up. Now, the next thing is if we're going to drag this Vlookup formula down for all these cells, you can see here we're using a reference that's going to update, and we're going to be referring to cells down here that don't have any information. So we need to make this an absolute reference. So the easiest way to do that is to select it and then press F4. That'll put your dollar signs in front of the column and the row, making it an absolute reference. So you need to do that for the start of the table and the end of the table. So now the next step is the column index that we want to return from our Vlookup table array. If we return column number 1 here, that's not going to be very helpful because we already have the number grade. We want to return the second column here, which is our letter grade with our grading scale. So I'm going to put in a number 2. If you had a bigger table, you basically just refer to whatever column you want to return. And that's all we do. So we're going to finish up our function. You can see here I've got my Vlookup function. You can either drag it down like this or just double click this little box and it will fill it in for you. And you can see every time I press F9, I'm just randomly generating grades. It's going to give me the corresponding grade value. Now, we already mentioned the two things you need to remember. To go over that again, it's that you need to use an absolute reference when you're referring to your table array. Number 2 is that you need to make sure your Vlookup table has column headers, text information. The third thing you need to remember is that your Vlookup table has got to be sorted using column number 1 in an ascending fashion. So you can see that's smallest to largest. You can see here if I come in and sort this largest to smallest, it's going to screw up. I'm going to get all kinds of crazy results and it's not going to work properly. Likewise, if I just sort this based on the letter, just picking something crazy, it's going to be all screwed up. It's got to be in ascending order based on the first column. So we'll fix that. And that's the three things to remember. So now you can see where the power of the Vlookup comes into play is if I come down here and I want to change my grading scale, I can do that very quickly. And I don't need to go through and update dozens upon dozens upon dozens of rows if you've got a long list, or maybe you have a couple thousand entries. It makes it very fast. So you can see here, let's see if I can find a good example here. Okay, so 76 is a C+. Now, let's see, 74 is a C. So you can see we've changed that. Let's see, I want to find a 96 here. So we'll do this. I'll just type this in manually. 96 is an A+. 95 is now an A. You can see if I change my grading scale down here to make a 95 an A+, bam, it updated right there. So you can see Vlookup tables are extremely powerful if you put them to use. This is an easy example. Your imagination can take you something much more complicated. This is Derek for OfficeForNewbies.com with our Excel VLOOKUP tutorial. Remember the three things. You need to have absolute reference, you need to have a labeled column headers, and you need to sort it smallest to largest. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe.